I sound a lot more enthusiastic than I feel. So I wanted to just do a quick video. I'm not in labour or anything, but I'm sat on the birthing exercise ball just because I'm having a lot of pelvic pain and it's really hard to sit down, and trying to keep in that like upright, forward, open position. So quick kind of background. This is our 5th baby. It'll be our 4th. I'm not explaining it very well. I've had more than 5 pregnancies, some ending in miscarriage, but I've had so I'm not explaining this very well at all. So I've got 3 boys, which I had by caesarean delivery, or caesarean birth or belly birth, however you want to call it. And then our 4th baby was we had bad news at a private scan that we had, and I'm not going to go into it too much in this video, but we were told that he was very poorly, wasn't going to make it to term, and so we had to make the decision of whether to continue with the pregnancy or whether to terminate for medical reasons. But I really hate that terminology, it's awful. So had him vaginally at just under 20 weeks, so he's actually classed as a miscarriage. After 24 would have been a stillbirth. Again, that's another thing for another time, but it's been around about a year now since we had that scan, and so I'm feeling, and I'm like 36 plus weeks with this baby, so it'll be classed as like our 5th baby, but 4th living baby. So I feel really kind of a whole mix of emotions, because whenever you lose someone, especially around like the kind of annual anniversary of when it happened, you get all those kind of like feelings come back quite strong. And but anyway, what I was going to say is, if anybody watching this has been affected by miscarriage, stillbirth, the termination for medical reasons, anything like that, that there's lots of support that you can access for free. You can talk to your midwife and they can refer you. I was referred to a trauma and bereavement service, so I see I forgot the word, psychologist who's amazing, and during this pregnancy, as well as some of my other pregnancies, because of mental illness and birth trauma, things like that as well, I've been under like a perinatal team, and what else? And I see like a specialist mental health midwife. So and all of those things have been a big help. But coming back to today, I just wanted to do, I'm waffling already, I think this video is already like 5 minutes long. I'm sorry I don't sound great, it's because I think, well, we've all got like a cold again, so I think everybody in the world at the moment is unfortunately a bit sick, so it's a bit rubbish with the weather and everything. But I just wanted to come on to kind of update where we are, like where I'm at, kind of with this pregnancy. So kind of quick background. which I've already done, but it's the unique situation for me, at least anyway, is I've had 3 previous caesareans, which makes it really fucking difficult when you are trying to advocate for yourself when you want a vaginal birth. So I'm trying to be kind of positive, keeping a positive headspace. It's been a very difficult sort of mental wise pregnancy, because trying to decide which one are you going to go for, and then also once you've made that informed decision with all the research that you've done, it's not just this pregnancy that I've wanted a VBac. I've tried to advocate for myself for one before, and then like I got to around this kind of point, and with feeling shit in my head, and then not feeling, you don't get your sleep, that you can have additional problems. I know I had like SPD or PG, the pelvic pain, and I had the itching, which I've got this time as well. It's not, I keep being tested every week for like the colour status, and it's coming back normal, but or at under the level of where they would be concerned, so that's great. But I still get like the symptoms and the itching. So at the moment, even though it's like 19 degrees inside, I've got like bare feet because I can't stand to be too hot because it makes it itching worse. Anyway, so I wanted to just share some kind of things that I've, I suppose, learned along the way, a couple of tips for anyone who's wanting to have a VBac. I suppose it's a lot more straightforward if you've had just one previous caesarean, because the team that you're under, the midwives or consultants or both, much more likely to kind of support you in that, whereas I've found personally, and through talking to other women as well, and being part of different support groups, reading birth stories online, positive ones, that it's really difficult to advocate because of the potential risks involved. So for me, it's the risks of uterine rupture, which is not that much higher after 3 caesareans than it is for 1. I don't know the exact statistics, but I've researched all of this, and the NICE guidelines that we have in England state that a woman should be supported up to and including 4 previous caesarean sections. I've found that is not the case, that you are supported. It's very difficult to get anybody to listen to you, and if you do, brilliant, and you have obviously got a midwife, a consultant, a care provider who knows their stuff and is not coming from a place of fear. As with any kind of birth, they all involve some level of risk, but it's kind of weighing up your options and what is going to be best for you, and ultimately being given the information that is factual, so that you're then able to make an informed decision, and you are the one making that decision. Having worked with my psychologist and been doing like the therapy, I've done lots of sessions where we've worked on excuse me, how to advocate, and like I tend to really overthink things, and it can be really scary, and especially when you're when I had my 3rd baby, which I was like going for the VBac, I'm going to do the VBac after 2 caesareans, and then like the fear crept in at the end massively, and I was told some really graphic lies during several appointments from several different consultants, registrars. I don't know what their position, what they were higher, they're not higher, sorry, but you know, like they specialise in obstetrics and like high risk birth, that kind of thing. It would have been great for them to actually sit with me and give me the facts, instead of trying to scare me and tell me your baby's gonna die, because since then my baby has died, not because I attempted a VBAC, but for several other medical reasons, and it's shit, and you never get over it and you carry it with you, but it's kind of made me who I am now as well. So anyway, trying to keep it positive, but I kind of feel like crying. So things that have really helped me during this pregnancy have been obviously those addressing past birth trauma, past fears or current fears. I would advise, like, if you can, definitely try and get in contact with the perinatal service that you should be able to access in your area, especially like if you live in the UK. I know that's something that we have. I'm not entirely sure about other countries, but certainly being able to talk about it in a way, in a safe way, in a place with somebody who you trust, who is not going to, make any judgments. They're just going to listen to you and try and kind of, they're not giving you the answers, but they're helping you to heal through it. And just talking about it is often really important, so that you can kind of start. Another thing is, it's not like VBAC specific, but and again, I'm just talking from my experience, like within England, but we do have like birth reflection services, where you can sit down with your past notes, talk to a midwife. Often it's a consultant midwife, and they'll go through everything that happened in your last birth. If it was difficult for you to process, you don't really understand what was going on because it might have been rushed, you might have had an emergency caesarean, something like that, or you could have had other types of trauma happen, and that's really I've done that before, and it was really positive experience and helped me kind of understand, process, heal from what had happened. So another thing that I've found really helpful, not just in this pregnancy but in others as well, is like Vbac specific groups. There's lots of really good ones on Facebook, and they're real women. There's like UK based ones, there's American ones, there's the Vbac Link community one, which is was founded in America. They have a Vbac Link podcast as well. If you just go on Spotify and just type in Vbac, excuse me, it'll literally bring up episodes of podcasts that are Vbac specific, and I've even found that there's not that many that are sort of like Vbac after 3 caesareans. There are some which are fab, because obviously I really relate to them and it's kind of what I'm looking for, but also the ones that are Vbac, so Vbac after 1 caesarean, are invaluable as well, because you gain in that knowledge and the understanding, and listening to other people's sort of stories, and then hopefully finding out like what helped them heal through it, and hopefully get like the positive birth they wanted. Another thing I was going to mention is CBAC, caesarean birth after caesarean, isn't a negative thing either. It's really positive. There's been lots of women, myself included as well, because I actually had an elective caesarean with my second baby, which was amazing, and couldn't have wished for a more positive birth. that was due to the baby being breech, but also for like mental illness, mental health reasons as well, and like past birth trauma. But again, you don't have to have a reason. You are entitled to the birth that you want. You're entitled to give birth vaginally, you're entitled to give birth via caesarean, and it's a right of yours to do that, and as long as you are aware of what the risks and benefits are for both, because again, there's no guarantee that if you go in for a Vbac that you're definitely going to have that outcome. Hopefully you will, if that's what you wish for and that's what you want in. But, you know, ultimately it's like really the only guaranteed kind of birth would be an elective caesarean, which is what I asked for and got with my second baby. Another thing is, so there's loads of podcasts. I'll try and put like a link to the ones that I have actually listened to. I've listened to so many. I've just been reading tons of books on like all types of birth, and there's some really, I mean, they've all been great. I should remember which ones, but I'm at the moment reading Hazel Keedle's book, which is Birth After Caesarean, I think. You can get that on Amazon, and that's really great. She's done some and is doing amazing work within the maternity realm, and she's, I just love the sort of feminist lens that she looks through things at, and also just acknowledging and understanding women on, you know, like a real human level, like you are seen, and it's great. Another thing that I found helpful, and especially when I went through labour with our last baby, was hypnobirthing. Just like those breathing techniques. Again, you don't have to necessarily go on a course or anything. I have purchased a few different ones. I've got the Positive Birth Company one, which I've done, and the Bump After Baby chapter as well. Both of those are amazing. You can just go on YouTube, especially, you know, like if money's tight as well, because having a baby, you've got other things to think about as well, especially if you've got other children and all the things that's happening in the world with like everything, but like financially as well. You can find a lot of great tips on like YouTube and stuff, and it's free advice and stuff. The AIMS Vbac book and the Birthrights book as well, both fabulous. There's a lot of really good stuff in them, and you can actually contact them through their website for advice. So if you having a hard time, or you're like struggling to get somebody to actually take you seriously or something like that, or you need to have things explained to you in like a clear, concise way so that you're able to make an informed decision about like what it is you wanting to do moving forward, that's another good resource. What else? I'm trying to think. I've got a couple of things written down. I've got like positive bit. Oh, how can I have forgotten this? There's the home birth after caesarean. I've forgotten all the names, but Ashley Winning does an amazing podcast. She had a free birth at home for her third baby, and I love her so much. I think she's amazing. And she has guests on, and she talks about lots of different things. So that's like one of my absolute favourite Vbac related podcasts. There's also Sarah Diligence, who is amazing. She's got a great YouTube channel, which I'll link as well. She had VBAC after 3 caesareans, and she's done some absolutely amazing work and videos, so informative. She's so lovely, and yeah, so helpful, and just these amazing women who do this is just like, I'm so grateful that they exist and are able to share their experience and like do all this great work to try and like help they are helping other women. What was the other thing? Also like positive birth stories. You can get them like on Instagram as well. If you search for specific hashtags, there's like hashtag VBAC after, or Vbac, or like VBAC after VBA3C, or however many caesareans, and lots of like, you know, like nice affirmations, and people share a lot in their stories. There's Badass Birth Mother, and there's Dr. Natalie Elphinstone, who's an obstetrician and based in Australia, who is wonderful and very women-centred. And again, like going back to kind of like a CBAC, there's this amazing thing which you probably already know about, but if sort of medically or for whatever reason you decided that you wanted to have an elective caesarean, she shares some amazing videos and stories of maternal assisted caesarean, which is still kind of in its infancy. I think the first one was done maybe 2015, 2016, which is sort of in maternity care quite recent. But again, talk to your midwife, your obstetrician, your hospital, wherever you're at, and see if that's something that they provide. I think I've discussed this, and I'm not sure whether they at my hospital do offer that, but I know that they do offer gentle caesarean. And there's things that you can tell them, you know, what is important to you. Is it important to you that you've got your own music, you know, because oxytocin at a caesarean is so important, just as important as it is when you're having a vaginal birth. Talk to them and see what they can facilitate, because often in theatres they can dim the lights. You can have your own playlist on Spotify or your phone. They can take pictures, like they can, and have like immediate skin to skin, have the ECG sticky dot things on your back rather than on your chest, so you can breastfeed, or you can just have skin to skin straight away. Also having like a cannula put in higher up is I've had that and it was much better. And then another, so out of breath and like wheezy because of the cough and the cold. Sorry, I keep looking down, it's just that I can't remember. And then I've also just put like excuse me, just having like time for yourself, so like scheduling self-care and being aware of like what your needs are, like emotionally and physically as well. Like I am not at my optimal fitness level at all, and to think that in a few weeks I'll be like attempting a Vbac, it does sometimes fill me with a lot of doubt, and I think, oh, can I do it? But I know that I can. I definitely am going to try. And kind of, that's another thing, like BMI, don't get me started, but has been another like risk factor in my pregnancy, in all of them. And I think I'm a couple of stone heavier than I was when I first got pregnant with my first baby. That was a like 36-hour labour and then an emergency caesarean, and then infections, and it was just awful. But I still got through it, and obviously like support of your family and your partner, and if you've got a doula, all of those things are, and also like just being on the same team, on the same page as the midwives that will be caring for you in hospital, or if you're having a home birth, you know, those things are really important. And having that time for yourself as well, especially like if you've got other kids. Obviously I've got 3, 5 and under, and I sometimes feel really guilty about having time on my own, but I know that I've accepted that I need and acknowledge that I need that time sometimes. And for me to be like functioning at my best, like I need to make sure that I have enough rest. I need to make sure I have enough to eat, and like, you know, things that sometimes as a parent we kind of like neglect, or we forget, or we think, oh, I haven't got time for that. It's really important, and you deserve to have that time. I've also just put down like bubble baths, oxytocin releasing stuff, so like your favourite comedy podcast, what else, I put date night and then in brackets at home, because let's face it, I mean, I'm not going out anywhere really unless it's to Five Guys or something. I've also put like ring your friend, meet up with a friend, or friends if you've got plural. Just anything that makes you feel good, like a dance if you know, like if your pelvis isn't going to collapse, totally do that. So I'm going to kind of finish there, because as you can hear, I'm out of breath and getting a bit nasal. I hope that's helpful. Obviously there's so many resources out there, lots of amazing people who know what they're talking about a lot more than I do, but I just thought I'd like put my little, is it like penny in that or something, I don't know, but just share what's been going on lately anyway. And also like brain dumps as well, like write things down, especially if you're like me and you worry or overthink, which is totally fine, but when you're pregnant as well, your hormones are all over the place, you get really emotional and you don't know why, like somebody brings you a sandwich and you're like crying like you've won an Oscar, and that's okay. You're not weird, that's totally normal, but just like give yourself a break. And also whatever birth it is that you're like planning on having, good luck with it. I'd love to hear like where you're at, like in your pregnancy, or have you just given birth, or have you had a VBac? Let me know, because I love talking to others about like their experience and stuff, even if it was like a couple of years ago or decades ago. It's still amazing. My mum is a VBac mum, and I still love hearing about my sister's birth, and like she likes talking about it as well. So and equally like talking to my grandma about her births and stuff, just find it fascinating. So it's just great to like be able to share like this amazing like a universal like shared experience and stuff. It's so cool. But anyway, yeah, wherever you are, I hope you're well and look after yourself, and I'll check in soon and let you know how I'm getting on, or how I've got on, or whatever. Okay, bye.